If you need to bring any kind of math or equations or graphs into your lessons, then look no further than Desmos. It's a great way to be able to bring the math into whatever the context it is that you're using. So what you do is you head over to desmos.com, and I've got this one already set up, and you can sign up for free. They've got some really amazing tools and some good examples of just how easy it is to be able to play around with math equations. So in this one, all these different variables are already set up. It's a lot of fun. Students are doing some really cool stuff on the site, but they also have great tools like their new geometry tool also, where you can label diagrams, all these different geometric tools, and students can actually do real measurements within there. And then they also have a scientific calculator, and then just simply a regular calculator that you can then mix into your lessons. So I'm going to show you some different examples, because this is great that you can do something on something like 538. We've got a lot of sports and politics and like real world math that you can connect and students can really dig into. Other things like open up resources, middle school math curriculum is another great one. You can see right here what I've done is I took their geometry graphing calculator and then I embedded it into here so students can go through, they can experiment with it, and then you can use InsertLearning to follow that up with a question from the experiment that they were doing then on the graphing calculator. You can use other sites then like Math is Fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and load InsertLearning on this one. And I'm going to add a sticky note. So after this one here, I'll add a sticky note. And there's a couple different ways you can embed them. One, when you're working with the regular graphing calculator in Desmos, what you can do is you can click on the share graph. And always sign in too, because then you can save your work, makes it pretty helpful. I'm going to now click on embed. And I'll copy that link, and then heading back over here, I'm just going to paste that embed into our sticky note. Now what this does, this gives you a kind of interactive version of the graph, but students can't edit it. So they can kind of go along, they can see the different points in the lines, have certain ones that the labels kind of stick out on there, but they can't edit them. If you want students to be able to edit it, well, one thing is you could have them go out to edit the graph on Desmos, or you can do is you can take that link, so I'm just going to copy that, and then using a iframe, kind of create your own iframe. So what I did was I just Google searched Iframe Generator or Iframe Creator. So this is iframecodegenerator.com. I left all the settings as is, and then I just simply paste in the link that I had, click on Generate, and now I'm going to copy that code. And going back over to this one, I'm going to get rid of that one, and we're going to add in our new one. And now we've got the fully interactive graph that's on there. Now you can notice, it's depending upon what you want to do, this might not be as ideal because you don't have as large of an area when you've got that on there. But it is a really good way for students now to be able to experiment and play around with the equation and then start answering questions. You can have a lot of follow-up questions like, what happens if you now change this? And they can go back and forth and kind of change those things. On the geometry calculator, there isn't a share option, so you will need to use the iframe generator. So all I did was simply copy that link, and then heading back over here, I just pasted in that link, click generate, and I'm going to copy that one, and we can paste that in. So let's see if we want to add it into this one. I'll just paste that. And again, this is going to be the fully interactive one, so now students can click on it and they can drag that around. They're going to be able to view it. Any changes that they make, though, won't affect yours, so you don't have to worry about that. But again, you'd want to be signed in so that when you do make your changes, those are going to happen. Now, for these calculators, it's going to be the same thing. Kind of just generate your own iframe code, and what we're going to do is we're going to use that for that 538 lesson. So generate it. We're just going to copy that link, and then over here. Right, so I chose this one because this is going to be a pretty relevant one for the students. It's going to be a lot of good discussions. I'm going to load in InsertLearning. And they've got a lot of data in here, so you can have students then kind of run their own calculations from that data. So I'm going to put a sticky note right after that paragraph, and then just paste in our iframe code. And now students have got the calculator right there. You can follow that up with a question. You can even then ask them as well, because you can see their highlights. You could ask students then to highlight where they were getting these numbers from, and then kind of explain how they solved that equation. So there's a lot of really neat things you can do. It's a great way to be able to take more traditional math sources that you might have, like Open Up Resources textbook, or Math is Fun, a lot of the other great ones that are out there. But you can also then mix it up with things like 538 and bring in real world math scenarios, and now be able to have them do the actual math calculations and graph the data that they're finding on there, all within the article.